Grade 301. This life skills lesson will be about signs that warn us of danger, and I will incorporate road signs. Just a reminder to you all that we do not stand up during class and we put up our hand to answer questions. So the first thing we want to think about and know is, what is the purpose of a warning sign? Why do we see them? Why are they there? The purpose of a warning sign is it indicates to us a potential hazard or an obstacle or condition we should be aware of. And this is to keep us safe of our surroundings. We see warning signs at certain places in order for us to be cautious and stay safe in that certain area. And it is mainly at workplaces, malls, schools, it is everywhere, public places, to keep us safe and to keep the company safe as well, so they know that people, not only the company but the school or the mall, to know that people are cautious about what they are doing, what they know, what they see, and what their surroundings are. Then when we talk about road signs are there to keep motorists safe. So in the morning when we drive to school, in the afternoon when we drive back home, the warning signs are there to keep us safe, the motorists when we drive in our cars, as well as the pedestrians, the people that walk across the road, or people who don't have cars, who mainly walk from place to place to get where they want to be. It is in order to keep them safe as well. So when we think about this, what different warning signs can we think of, do we normally see? Yes, Michael, at the back. Yes, Michael says pedestrian signs. We mostly see pedestrian signs. You know pedestrian signs because you see it at school. Hey, you see it. It is in the streets where our school is, and it's to keep our children safe when it's time to come to school as well as time to leave school. Flammable, yes, flammable. In order to keep us safe by telling us that certain substances, such as perfume, air freshener, and those things, they are highly flammable. So you can't put them like in the sun, because when it gets to certain degrees, it can explode. Then when we think of the next one can maybe tell me. Yes, Cynthia. Yes, Cynthia says a slippery floor. Have you fell before on a slippery floor? Yes, most of us have fallen before. But yes, a slippery floor, it is an important sign so people can know. People can be cautious not to walk there or go, or maybe just walk around it, not go in the way where the floor is wet. And normally we see these signs at the mall, maybe where the cleaner is cleaning the floor. We can see the sign to keep us as clients at the mall, at the public place, to keep us safe and cautious of our surroundings when there's a slippery floor. So what I'm going to do now, on the television there, I'm going to show you a video on different signs that warn us of danger. It might be signs that you've seen before, that you know, signs that we've talked about now, but it can also be signs that's new to us. We've never seen it before. And it's mainly, let me get it for you, at workplaces as well. It's to keep people safe every day of our lives. So let's have a look at it.
inside the cylinders. Even at a relatively low pressure, gas can flow rapidly from an open or leaking cylinder. This pictogram or symbol indicates that a product is flammable. Flammable substances can ignite very easily and will burn very vigorously when ignited. You must exercise extreme caution while working with or around flammable materials and keep them away from ignition sources at all times. Over circle. Materials bearing this pictogram or symbol are considered oxidizing substances. While not flammable on their own, products displaying this pictogram or symbol will provide the oxygen necessary to fuel fires. Oxidizing materials are not limited to one state of matter. They can be in the form of liquids, solids, and gases. This pictogram or symbol indicates that the materials can cause corrosive damage to metals as well as skin and eyes. Damage caused by these chemicals is usually permanent. Significant precautions should always be taken to ensure corrosive materials do not come in contact with unprotected parts of your body. Skull and crossbones. The skull and crossbones indicates that a substance is toxic. Toxic substances have the ability to harm or kill living organisms ingested or inhaled. Additionally, these substances can cause problems with the respiratory system, leading to breathing difficulties that can result in death. Exclamation mark. This new pictogram lets the user of a product know that the chemical is an irritant. These substances typically cause soreness or redness to the skin and cause it to become irritated. It should be noted that irritant substances do not necessarily have hazards of low severity, as they have the ability to cause acute toxicity if inhaled or ingested. Health hazards. Substances bearing this pictogram can pose several health hazards and have the ability to physically damage or potentially kill an animal or human. These substances should never be inhaled or ingested under any circumstances. Mixing bomb. This new pictogram and Wemyss 1988 symbol indicate that the materials are explosive or highly reactive. Quite simply, these products can be self-reactive and have the ability to explode if handled improperly. Hazardous infectious materials. This Wemyss symbol has not changed. It means the same thing. These materials are organisms or the toxins which they produce that can cause disease in people or animals. Environmentally damaging. Substances displaying this pictogram have the ability to kill or damage living things within an ecosystem or environment.
Well, good class. Now that we know the purpose of signs that warn us of danger, please open your Platinum Life Skills textbook on page 79. Now that we're all on page 79, the first one they warn us, the warning sign that we see, which they warn us of, is the electricity sign, to know that there's electricity hazard and or electrical hazard that we must know of. It doesn't mean that you will have a shock or anything. Excuse me. It just means that you need to be aware of the electrical high voltage that can be there. So what the first thing they tell us that you should never switch on any electrical material when your hands are wet, your hair, when you physically are wet. Never try to switch it on. Rather wait for yourself to dry, your hands to dry, before switching on the electrical material. Then what they're saying is, always tell an adult, mommy or daddy, if you see something with an electrical cord that seems not in place. If you can see some cables that are sticking out or anything, don't try and touch it yourself. You don't know if it's plugged in elsewhere and you might shock. Rather tell an adult or mommy or daddy, like I said, that they should be aware of it. And then the plug in the wall. Never put anything into the plug. Not a finger, not a pencil, not a stick. Never try putting anything in it. It's very dangerous because it has high voltage and you will shock. Never go close to places where there is electricity. And when it says, when there's a sign that shows you to stay away from this electrical appliance or electrical things, you should know that it is not only a sign that warns us, but the chance that it is on and it will shock. It's clear that it not might happen, but it will happen. If you look on page 80, they're talking about poison and flammable material. So something that's poisonous, you should never try and take in or even touch. If you touched it, try and wash your hands directly without touching an eye or putting a finger in the mouth. And then flammable, as we can see, flammable things that we can see, that everyday things that we see which are highly flammable. The first one we can see, which they show, it's paint, and we can see that they show it's oil. We show everyday usage of hairspray as well as perfume. Those are things that are highly flammable and it's very dangerous. So what they show us here, never put anything, one of these things, close to where there is heat. What I know about, what I say about heat is, like when it's a normal warm day, it doesn't mean that it can't be like on the counter. What they actually mean, never put it close to direct sunlight. Try and put it for a whole day there. Never try something like that. Or close to a heater, close to the stove, or even close to a fire, an open fire. It is very dangerous. So what I'm going to put on the board now for us is a wall chart. I want you to have a look at the wall chart. It has 9 warning signs for us. It can be warning signs which has something to do with the road, or it can be normal warning signs which warn us. And we look at those 9 warning signs there, and I'm going to say the names, because what we will do now, each of us, we're going to have discussions and we will put the name which suits the correct picture of the warning sign. So the first word is pedestrian crossing, then traffic light, a speed bump, a slippery road, explosives, which means something that can explode very fast. Like I said, something that's flammable, but this is the same as flammable, but this can explode much easier. Then roadworks, where there's roadworks ahead. Sometimes when we drive on holiday, we have to wait a little bit before we can move into another road because there's roadworks. Cyclists, flammable, and poison. Yes, well, that was a very nice group activity. Some of us never knew some of the signs, and some of us weren't that familiar with some of the signs. But as I can see, you've learned a lot now. You know what to look for. You know which words suits which signs. And you know why it suits the signs. It's not just the sign that's there for us just to see, but it's actually to keep us on the road and in our everyday lives safe. So, do you agree with these warning signs? Yes, we do agree with them. Why do we agree with them? We agree with them because they keep us safe. Every day they keep us safe. And if there wasn't signs like that, we wouldn't know in the future what to expect. We wouldn't know about our surroundings, what to expect of it. And then, what do you think about the warning signs? Do you think it's necessary, that it should be there? Do you think we should have it in our everyday lives? We should see it every day? Yes, we don't always see it every day, but I think it is necessary that we know of these signs, especially when we go some places that we're not familiar with, to see these signs, to know what to expect, to keep ourselves safe, our friends and family. And then I have a question about this. Would you want to change or adjust some of these signs? Yes. Well, Peter has a point there. Peter says he would want to change the speed bump sign. I'm going to explain what you said, and then I'm going to tell you the reason why I don't totally agree, but it is your point of opinion, if I can say it like that, Peter. So what he says, they went on holiday once. Yes, his daddy didn't see the speed bump. He did see the sign. He didn't see the speed bump being that high, that big. You know, sometimes speed bumps are just quick and easy to go over, but then you get speed bumps that are high and big, and it's very dangerous. The faster you go, the more dangerous it can be for your family in the car, even the car, or it can cause a major accident. So he says the sign should, if it's a bigger speed bump, the sign should show a bigger speed bump. But the thing about this is, the speed bump, you can see it a few meters before the speed bump actually is in the road. Okay? So what happens is, you see the speed bump sign, you must be cautious and must be aware of the speed bump coming ahead. So you need to slow down. So I understand we are coming from, but it should always be you as the driver, the motorist, should always be careful and cautious about when you see the sign, just to slow down to make sure that you don't go too fast over the speed bump. So if you all look on your desks, there is a worksheet activity. You will see that there is a blank space to fill in your name and surname. Guys, kindly write your name and surname in for me, please, to be able for me to assess your worksheets accordingly. If you can do that quickly for me while I'm waiting for you, then we will go on. Well, the worksheet is about warning signs and road signs. So number 1, they say name each of the following signs that warn us of danger. So there's 3 signs. 1 is a road sign, and 2 of them are signs that warn us of danger. On the line you write the name of the sign. We have talked about it, we've seen it in the video, and we have discussed what some of these are. Then at number 2, you take, there are 7 signs there. Some of them are warning signs, some of them are road signs. So please, out of your pencil case, take 2 color pencils, not just any color please, red and blue. Take it out quickly, put it on your desk so I know you have it with you. So what the question says, it says circle the warning signs with your blue pencil, all the warning signs So the ones you see that you think are the warning signs, you circle them with your blue, and then the ones that you see that you think that are the road signs, you circle with your red pencil. Okay. Then we move on to number 3. You have a look at all the signs on the first page. All the warning and road signs on the first page of your worksheet, they all have different shapes. We can see rectangle, circles, triangles, octagon, and squares. So what you do for me, you count each one. Each rectangle you see, then you write the number in there. Each circle you can count, you write the total numbers in there. Each triangle, you count all the triangles, write the number in there. The octagons, how many octagons you can see, you write the total numbers in there. And then the squares, how many squares can you see? No, you don't shout out. The total squares you can see, you write it in the box. Then at number 4, you must design your own warning sign, but it's not just any warning sign. It's a warning sign that you think will keep your fellow pupils, learners in the school, safe every day. You draw one, you can also color it in if you want to. So now on the board I have a few warning signs for you. So what you do there for me, you look at excuse me, at each of the warning signs, and you can discuss with your friend, where do you think you can find these warning signs? Okay, it can be anywhere. So like the first one I'll give as an example, it's cautious of a wet slippery floor. It can be in any public space, hey? It can be anywhere like that. And so you can talk with your friend, you can discuss and see the ones you're not sure of. We will still discuss it, and then we'll have a group discussion about all these signs and where you can find them. Now that we are more familiar with signs that warn us of danger as well as some of the road signs, we have learned new signs as well. Before the lesson started, we started talking about signs that we know of, warning signs we know of, and road signs we know of. We have learned new signs, and these signs will help us in the future. Have we learned all the warning and road signs? No, we have not. But these are signs that will keep us safe, ourselves safe in our everyday lives. So what I did, I put you in 3 groups, remember? Group 1 is sitting there, group 2 and group 3, am I correct? Yes. Okay, so I asked you guys as a group to discuss and select one warning or road sign you find to be most important. And we came to the conclusion that group number 1 found a slippery floor most important. And they said they chose it because some people don't always see in public spaces that there are slippery floors, and they might get hurt or injured while walking across the slippery floor without noticing or knowing that it is slippery. So they say that sign is very much important to always put it up so people are aware of it. Group number 2 said highly flammable. Yes, because this is a very important sign, because some people don't always understand the importance of how flammable some substances are. If we think about petrol, sometimes when people want to have a braai, daddy or friend, and then they struggle to put the fire up, and then they want to try and use petrol. Normally mommy says, no, you're not going to try it. You rather use more fire lighters until you can light it. And that is what happens. It is very dangerous, because once the flame and the petrol collides, it explodes, and it's a very fast movement of the fire, and it can cause very harmful injuries. And group number 3, they chose the road sign. They chose a road sign, and they chose a road sign of pedestrians walking across the road. And this one is very important, because people don't always see or are aware of pedestrians walking across the road, especially at a school. That's why at schools we always have lots of these warning signs to keep our children, especially our children, to keep them safe when crossing the road. The thing about this is pedestrians don't always follow the rules, the road rules, and they don't always cross the pedestrian crossover. They just walk across the road, and this is where it can be particularly very dangerous, as people don't slow down if they don't know that there will be pedestrians crossing the road. Now that we've learned new signs, we have discussed new signs, we have discussed signs that we knew of. We all have different opinions. We all think, some of us think the same, but we all, if you think about it, have different opinions about different signs. But one thing that we always should remember about our surroundings, public spaces, even on the road, that safety always comes first.